Hi everyone, this is Togi here with a character guide for Maypul. Now there aren't any tournaments in my region or anything, so I can't really prove my skills with this character yet, but I like to think of myself as pretty good. I have over 40 hours just with Maypul. I play other characters, like I think I have maybe like 20 matches on other characters, but the rest of that time is entirely Maypul, figuring stuff out, going online, and whatever. So I figured I'd make a character guide because it seems like a lot of people are having trouble with the character just in general, learning what's up, trying to play the character. So I'm not going to go through hitbox or frame data because that stuff is going to be subject to change through patches and stuff, but I'm going to assume that her core gameplay is going to somewhat remain the same. So I'm going to go move by move, tell you what each move can do, what they're good for, and then after that I'm going to show you some bread and butter combos that you can do with Maypul and some tricks and tips. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so first up is Maypul's jab. It's a quick 2-hit jab. Each hit does 4 damage for a total of 8. Due to the recent change in 0.04, the first hit no longer does any knockback, it just does hit stun. But still does 4 damage, and it comes out really quick. I think they actually buffed the startup frames on it as well. So if you're up close to your opponent and you're trying to go for like a down tilt or a forward tilt or an up tilt, you can just throw in a jab first, and it'll go right into that tilt now. It's a good way to just get a little bit of extra damage on that tilt because they can't get out of it. There's no knockback. You can't tech roll or anything. Another use for jab that I see some people doing, I don't do too often myself because I feel like it's pretty punishable if your opponent knows what's up. If your opponent's up in your face and attacking you, you can kind of just throw out a 2-hit jab into whatever. I don't really like to use the second hit that often. I see some people doing like jab jab into jab jab, but it doesn't really work that well. Its main use, in my opinion, is to just get in a little bit extra damage from those tilts. You can, at lower percents, you can do like jab jab down tilt, but it's not as reliable. They can DI it down and tech roll it, so just keep that in mind. Alright, next up is forward tilt. It's a single punch. It has a pretty decent disjoint and does 8 damage. As you can see, it has pretty good base knockback, even at low percents. He's going pretty far from just a single forward tilt. Its main usage is just kind of a get off me move if your opponent's up in your face and you want to set up or you just need a second to breathe. You can tap that and then run away, jump away, whatever you want. Just be aware that this isn't the best for follow-ups because they can tech roll it like that. So if you go for a follow-up, you'll need to read their tech roll or just don't go for a follow-up. If you're up close and you want a forward tilt, remember to jab beforehand, get that extra 4% in. It's always nice to have. This move can actually kill at higher percents if your opponent's DI is bad, but don't rely on it to kill. It's not really a kill move, but it's a nice little perk that it can if your opponent doesn't know that you're about to throw it out. Down tilt is a single tail swipe. It comes out really quick and has a good disjoint on it. It does come out quick, but it doesn't combo into itself, so don't be fooled into thinking that it does. It does 7% and sends the enemy just straight up and just a tiny bit in front of you, which is great because it means that it can combo into pretty much any aerial that you want it to. You can do down tilt into forward air, you can do down tilt into nair, and you can do down tilt into up air. Pretty much this is a really good combo starter for Maypul because of its disjoint. You can just run up and down tilt. Remember, it is a tilt, so you can get that jab into down tilt for that extra 4 damage for a total of 11. Also, you can do double jab into down tilt, but it isn't as reliable. Your opponent can DI out of it, and they can also tech roll behind you and punish you for it. It's not that great in my opinion. I usually go for the single jab because it's much safer, and that 4% damage from the second jab is nice, but it's not worth getting down smashed. Up tilt is probably one of Maypul's best moves. Comes out really quickly. It's 2 roots on either side of her. Either side does 8 damage. Both of them have the same amount of damage and pretty much the same hitbox. They send the opponent up and just a tiny bit away from Maypul. I say that this is one of her best moves because of 2 reasons. First of all, it combos into itself really easily, and you can even just kind of follow your opponent's DI and just keep juggling them with it to rack up. See, that was 56%, and I didn't really have to put in much work for that at all. Another reason is it pretty much combos into any of your aerials. You can do like up tilt into back air, which you can't really do with down tilt very well. You can do up tilt into forward air. You can do up tilt into nair. And of course you can do up tilt into up air, which is kind of Maypul's bread and butter combo. But this is, along with down tilt, Maypul's main ground combo move, I would say. You can rack up damage really easily with it. Don't expect it to kill, but definitely expect it to combo. Oh, and since it is a tilt, make sure that you get that extra jab in. If you can remember to do it, it's a guaranteed 4%, which is always nice. Anybody that's ever played against a Maypul knows Maypul's dash attack and probably hates it because it is a very good move. It's a 2-hit combo. The first hit does 3 damage and the second one does 5. It's a little dash along the ground and then a little uppercut like that. And the reason that it's so good and why people don't like playing against it is because, first of all, it combos into itself. It combos into up tilt. It combos into nair. It combos into up air. It combos into pretty much anything. This is probably Maypul's best combo starter along with up tilt and down tilt, mainly because it can set up into up tilt and nair and all of those shenanigans. Another thing to note is if an enemy is using a horizontal hitbox, when using the dash attack, the initial hit causes you to basically go into your duck hitbox. So it will basically have your hitbox size, so a lot of attacks will go right over you. Just a little something to note. But although this move is really good, please don't try to spam it because it can be pretty predictable. If you're just dashing at your opponent and using your dash attack, people will start parrying it and you will get punished. Try to mix it up. Don't always approach with dash attack. Approach with your other tools such as, side B, up tilt, down tilt, etc. It is a great move, but don't overuse it. Alright, on to Maypul's strong attacks. Just so you know, I come from a Smash Bros background, so if I say smash attack during this video, please excuse me, just know I mean strong attack. It's just difficult to get rid of that vocal habit. Something to note on all of Maypul's strong attacks is if your opponent has a mark on them, then if you hit them with a strong attack, it will root them in place. It will not give them any knockback. So keep that in mind if you're trying to kill somebody with a mark on them, and you hit them with a smash attack, you'll have to hit them with another smash attack in order to kill them. So first off is Maypul's forward strong attack. It's this whiplash that has a lot of startup, but also a huge hitbox and disjoint. It does 11% uncharged and 16% fully charged if I can hit it. There we go. Wait for Craig to get back on the stage. Alright, so its main use is catching people's tech rolls and covering situations where you're not sure where your opponent's going to land. You know that they're going to go in a range, but you're not sure exactly where in that range. For example, if you know that Orcane is going to side B back to the stage, or Forsburn is going to up B from maybe down there into this corner here, then you can just sit here and charge a forward smash and it covers this entire area for when they recover. It's also really good at covering tech rolls, like if you know that they're going to roll in, you can kind of go behind them in forward smash. If you know that they're going to roll out, then forward smash catches them as well. So it's pretty much just a just option coverage. It's not the best kill move. It is a good kill move, so don't get that wrong. But down smash has a little bit more knockback than this if you can hit it. So if you're going for the guaranteed kill, forward smash is just a little bit worse than down smash in most situations. Maypul's up strong move is this whiplash. It's very similar to forward smash except vertical. Something to note is there's not a lot of a horizontal hitbox on it. It's like if I try to use it here, it won't hit him. You kind of have to be right up on them if you're on the ground in order to hit them with forward up smash. It does have the same amount of damage as Maypul's forward strong attack. It does 11% uncharged and then 16% fully charged. And it's not the best kill move, honestly, unless you are on a platform. If you're trying to kill your opponent, I highly recommend going for forward smash or down smash. If you're trying to kill your opponent on the ground, if you're on a platform, up smash is likely the best option if you can hit it. Maypul's down strong attack is another whiplash, but it's not very similar to our other ones. As you can see, it doesn't have the huge disjoint that the other ones have, but it comes out really quickly and hits on both sides. It does 10% damage uncharged and 15% damage fully charged. This, similar to forward smash, is great for covering tech rolls. If you know that they're going to roll out, you can run up and down smash. If you know that they're going to roll in, you can just down smash in place and the back end of it will catch them. What it lacks in range from the other two, it makes up in kill power. It kills much earlier than up smash unless you use it on a platform, and it usually kills earlier than forward smash, although the change is not that noticeable. One other thing to note with Maypul's down smash, which makes it amazing in my opinion, is if they have a mark on them due to her snare mechanics, if you get right up in their hitbox and then use down smash, you'll hit them with both ends of it, which usually your opponent will not expect that at all, and they will not DI the second hit, which means that it can net you really early kills. Not to mention it does a minimum of 20 damage, which is kind of monstrous. But yeah, just keep that in mind, that if you snare an opponent, or if an opponent has a mark on them and you get the read, and you down smash, get both ends, it's probably going to net you a kill. Next I'm going to be going over Maypul's special moves. Alright, so first up is Maypul's Seed. It's a pretty basic projectile. She just throws a seed. They move pretty quickly in kind of a shallow arc, and they fall, as you can see, as they're going off the stage. They do 2% each, and they don't cause any knockback, so don't expect these to keep your opponent at bay. And they do mark your opponent, as you can see those leaves floating around them. But if your opponent's stalling, then you can kind of just throw seeds at them, or if you want to stall, then you can kind of just throw seeds at them. Just know that it won't stop them from approaching, because again, they don't have any knockback. You can also kind of snipe people off stage before they recover for a little bit of extra damage if you're accurate with them. But other than that, it's just kind of a little bit of an annoyance tool to tack on more percent, or mark your opponent if you don't already have a mark on them. Maypul's side special move is a dash. It does 4% damage and marks your opponent, and it also combos into itself at low percents pretty well. So you can juggle your opponent a little bit with just that move since it's so quick. One thing to note though is, even though it's a quick move and it's very tempting to approach with it, Maypul's hurt box actually extends past the hitbox of the move. You can see those green ends coming out, extending beyond the red circle. So almost any attack with a disjoint will beat this out if it's used to approach, so be very careful about approaching with this move. That's not to say it's not good, just be careful with it. You can use this move in the air, but it does put you into freefall, where you can't do anything else except wall jump. You can also use it on platforms, and it will never move you past the end of the platform unless you are off the platform during the startup, in which case you can actually move to other platforms on the same level. Let me see if I can, there we go, like that. Another interesting thing to note about this move is during the crouch startup of the move, if you hit the opposite direction, she will go backwards, and it has the same hitbox as the forwards version. See how that hits him kind of up and in front of me? The backwards version has the same hitbox, so it will hit them behind you, but you'll end up facing them. So this has a couple of uses. You can run behind your opponent. You can just run straight past them while they're expecting you to throw out an attack, and you can do the side B backwards, and then they're in front of you again, and you can do like a down tilt or whatever combo you want. Another use for it is if you're in the corner and getting pressured by Crag with forward tilt or jab or whatever, then you can turn around and start up a side special in the direction of the edge and then reverse it, and then now he's in the corner and you can combo him however you want. It is a little bit technical, but once you get the hang of it, you can get it pretty consistently. I haven't really incorporated it into my play yet, but I'm pretty sure that it'll be a decently big part of Maple's ground play as her meta evolves. This move will also be your main recovery move to get back to the stage if your opponent isn't marked. You can side B to the wall and then side B back to the stage after an air dodge. I messed it up there. But if you are off the stage and then you just up B without a mark, then you're pretty much dead anyway. So side B is your main tool if you don't have a mark to get back onto the stage. Maple's down special plants her plant in the ground, Lily, and from the time of planting it to when it disappears, which should be right around now, I think. There it goes. That is 10 seconds. When you plant it, it's not active for the first 2 seconds, and then it's active for about 8 seconds. And what I mean by active is if your opponent has a mark on them, then it will snare them. And it doesn't do any damage, but it does hold them in place for you to run up and start whatever combo you want, or if they're at a higher percent, you can land a smash attack on them to kill them. Just pretty much do whatever you want to them. Another interesting thing about Lily is you can feed her seeds. And she'll spit them up in the air. These can hit people up there, so it's a good way to make kind of a wall if you want to mark your opponent, and they're going to have to go through that to approach you. Also, if you feed it 5 seeds, it'll grow like this into a bigger plant, and this gives you a couple of benefits. First of all, that 10-second timer no longer applies. It'll just stay around forever now until it snares somebody, and then it'll disappear like a normal plant. And also, it'll snare your opponent for longer. I tested this earlier, and if Crag is at 100%, then regular plant snares them for 52 frames, and big plant snares them for 82 frames. So it's a little over 1.5 times the amount, which is great if you're far away or if you want to try to think about what you're going to do first. But yeah, big plant is all around better. If you can feed it, then I recommend doing so, but don't get killed trying to do so. You can also plant it on platforms, which is nice against certain matchups such as Raster, because he'll try to combo you, and if he's comboing you up here and he has a mark on you and he runs into this, then he'll get snared and you can get out of his combo. I think that the plant is actually very underrated by most Maple players right now. Most Maples that I see and go against don't really place down a plant, or if they do, they put down maybe 1 per match, and even if they plant it, then they'll never feed it. I think that having a trap on the field at all times is a very strong tool if you can set it up, and it shouldn't really be underestimated as much as it is right now. Down special also has a secondary use. If you use it on the ground, it's the plant, as I said earlier. If you use it in the air, it's this dive that Maple does, and it does 4% damage, and it marks your opponent. So it's just like your seed, it'll give them the mark. You can also do a couple cool movement things with it, because if you short hop and then down B while you're moving, you'll do this kind of float thing in the air. And you can do stuff on the platforms like go back and forth, and then you can kind of zoom around the stage with that thing. And it only does 4% damage though. It's not really the greatest move in Maple's repertoire. It's kind of the secondary use of down B. I much prefer the plant, honestly. It's okay as a mix-up approach if they're sitting there with like down tilt, or they've been using forward tilt or something. You can run up and like full hop down B, and it'll usually get them because they aren't throwing out hitboxes above them, and you get that float, so you can jump up from far enough away horizontally to actually land the down B. Maple has 2 up special moves, and I will be going over the bad one first. If you don't have your opponent marked, then your up B is this jump. It goes straight up. You can't really alter the horizontal trajectory at all until after the move is completed, and it puts you into free fall. It looks like it might be a good move, but the hitbox on it is terrible. See here, Crag's hitbox, her hurtbox, and my hurtbox are overlapping by quite a bit, and I still won't hit him with up B if I use it. You have to be pretty much in your opponent or directly under them in order for you to actually hit them with this move. It does 8 damage, and it has quite a bit of knockback, as you saw there. So It's good to go for up air into up air into up B, can kill off the top pretty easily. But other than that, this move is probably Maypul's worst move, in my opinion. I pretty much never use it unless I'm trying to use it as a combo finisher in the air. It's not really good on the ground unless you absolutely know that your opponent's going to be above you. Then you can maybe get a nice punish on them like that, but it does put you into free fall, and it takes forever for you to get back to the ground, so you will probably get punished. It's also not very good as a recovery tool because you can't really alter the horizontal on it until after the move is complete. Like you saw, I barely recovered and I was only out to like here. Yeah, you can't even recover with it like that. Maypul's good up B is if your opponent is marked. If you tap up B, you can still get this if you tap up B. If you hold up B, you'll tether to where your opponent is. It doesn't do any damage. It consumes the mark, but it is an amazing movement option. If you hold up B, you'll go to right above your opponent. If you hold up B and then hit to the left, you'll go to the left of your opponent. And if you hold up B and hit to the right, then you'll go to the right of your opponent. It might take a little while to get the hang of it, but once you do it for a little while, then it'll become second nature. And I definitely recommend that you practice it because it is definitely one of Maypul's best tools. For example, if Crag is facing off against me and I'm approaching him, he's thinking that I'm going to come in with a side B or a dash attack or maybe a down tilt or something. But I can run, and then boom, now I'm behind him. I get a jab into down tilt, and he can't really do anything about it unless he's throwing out a hitbox that hits behind him, which is pretty unlikely if he's trying to hit me over here. It's also absolutely amazing as a combo extender. You can up tilt into up air into tether down B, which reseeds them actually. You can, if they are off stage, you can tether to them and then hit them off stage. It is honestly just the most fun movement option I've ever encountered in a fighting game, ever. I absolutely love this move. The only limitation to it is you cannot tether below them. I'll try to do that right now. You can't tether below them. If you hold down, you'll just end up on top of them. I think that this is actually a good change, or a good balance thing, because if you could tether to below them, then you could just up air, and they would be able to die very, very easily. But yeah, those are Maypul's up specials, and please learn them because they are pretty integral to her gameplay. Alright, Maypul's aerials, everybody's favorite part of platform fighters. So we're going to start out with Maypul's neutral air. It's this kind of two-hand punch, and it has a really good disjoint on it. You can hit people from really far away with it. The first hit, or the strong hit, does 8% damage, and the weak hit does 5% damage. And it comes out really quickly, as you can see. Don't pay attention to the hitboxes right now. It says that the back hitbox will hit them towards Maypul. When it doesn't, it definitely hits them away, as you can see. But this move has a lot of uses. It's a very good move. You can kind of rush people down with an airplane like this. You can just run off a platform into Nair, and it'll cover a pretty large space if your opponent is trying to approach there. You can use this as an edge guarding tool since the hitbox is so big. You know, it has a lot of uses. You'll just have to figure them out. There's also like down tilt into neutral air. I mean, at lower percents, that's actually guaranteed. Even if you don't chase them, you'll still get the weak hit of neutral air. Do chase them though if you want that extra 3% from the strong hit. But yeah, Nair is a really good move with a lot of uses. You can fast fall it. It's just a great move in general. Maypul's back air is this 2-hit tail swipe. It's a pretty good disjoint, but it's pretty much impossible to approach with unless you approach from a neutral jump, because Maypul kind of carries her momentum with her jump. You can't really reverse aerial rush this move at all. It's 2 hits, does 10 damage total. First hit does 4, second hit does 6. It doesn't really have that much knockback, so it's more of a combo tool than a kill move. In fact, I don't think it really kills at all. And you can just hit the first hit, the 4% hit, and they'll kind of just go straight up, which they can DI, but you can kind of do this into a down smash, which is difficult for them to get out of if they aren't expecting it. You can kind of chase them with this move, but not really. It is Maypul's highest damage aerial, but that's probably also because it's the hardest to land effectively on your opponent. This isn't my least used aerial, but I use it very situationally. It is good in those situations, but it's not the best choice in most. Next up is Maypul's forward air. It's this little swipe, and it is my personal favorite move on this character. It does have a little bit of startup. As you can see, she kind of holds her hands up in the air for a little bit before hitting, but it does 8% damage, and it is a spike. It doesn't hit them straight down, but it hits them diagonally down, like that. It does have a little bit of startup, but it does combo into itself. Like you can do forward air into forward air into forward air into forward air if they're not DIing it correctly. It's also great. It's similar to Nair in that it has a good disjoint. Like if I use it here, I'll probably still hit him. Yeah. But different from Nair. Nair kind of sends them pretty far away from you. Forward air kind of sends them like right there, so you can continue your combo pretty effectively with up tilt, whatever. It also combos out of pretty much any one of your tilts. It's great. It has a good vertical disjoint, it has a good horizontal disjoint, it can extend your combos, it can spike off the stage. You know, it's just a good move. I love this move. Especially, it's very, very satisfying when you pull this move off at the end of a combo. Next up is Maypul's down air, which is this little tentacle that comes out of the ground. It is kind of unique in this game in that no matter how high up Maypul is, it will always appear on whatever ground is directly beneath her. And yes, it can appear on platforms if you use it above a platform. It does 6% damage, and while the hitbox looks like it would hit vertically, or at least diagonally, it hits almost exactly horizontally. It acts a lot more like forward tilt than up tilt. Its main usage is just kind of like to camp on your opponents, as far as I can tell. Like if you're up here, then you can use down air and kind of just mess with them and force them to approach aerially. It can also combo into your other aerials at higher percents. Like you can do like down air into forward air, like that. All in all, this is probably the aerial I use the least unless I'm trying to specifically make my opponent approach me. Because it is great for that if you can just kind of stay up here and keep hitting them with down air. But it is probably my least used aerial because it doesn't really combo into anything. It is a combo starter, but it's not really a combo extender at all. Lastly, we have Maypul's up air. This move is unique in that it actually alters her jump movement. Makes her jump a lot higher. For reference, that's normal double jump, and this is a double jump using up air in between the jumps. Makes her go a lot higher. It can also stall your descent a little bit, but it's not that useful in that regard, I don't think. It is a 3-hit combo. The first 2 hits do 2% damage each, and they have set knockback, so they will never send your opponent anywhere except into the other hits if they are there. The last hit does 5% damage, and it's the one with all the real knockback, and it sends them directly above you. So this move can combo into itself really well as long as you follow your opponent's DI. This is actually one of the main ways to combo with Maypul, is just up airs over and over and over again. It's a really good move. It does 9 damage, which is great for this character. Her moves don't tend to do a lot of damage. But yeah, you can set this up at up tilt really, really easily. It's the main move that you want to try to be doing out of up tilt. Note that they can fall out of it, like you just saw right there. If you start it too high, then they will fall out of it and they won't get hit by the last hit, which I can't seem to replicate. There you go. Other than that, it's a great move. It's part of Maple's bread and butter combos. You can just carry them off the top. People going against Maypul, make sure that you DI this and mix up your DI, because if you just keep DIing to the left, then you can do that and just kind of follow them since the jump is increased so much. This is just a really fun move to use, get around with. It kills, it does a lot of good damage. Overall, very solid move, very solid aerial if you want to combo your opponent vertically.